Welcome to You Don't Know Ball. Today, we are going to be discussing the Philadelphia Eagles, who just lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 32-9 in the wild card round. Baker Mayfield lit you up. One of the most, I would say, historic collapses we have seen from a franchise in the NFL. They started off 10-1 and then lost a lot. First round exit, played themselves out of their own division title. What is going on with the Eagles, Dobbs? Because I think we both have
what's crazy, bro, is my answer hasn't changed at all. That's what makes it, to me, is what makes it funny. Is my answer still is the exact same as it was. The biggest reason, by far, there's some karmatic universal energy ever since that Nick Sirianni pulled his stunt. It totally is. But it's that's just the funny part. That's what makes it funny. But to the pure reality of the situation also, besides just the cosmic, karmic ramifications of that instance, like, the reality also is that the offensive coordinating and the defensive coordinating just didn't work all year. It wasn't great with Sean Desai, but it was at least functioning. And then Patricia's shit show came in. And it's like, oh man, it's just a mountain of shit rolling down the mountain, just collecting more and more shit until it was what we saw on Sunday, and it was a massive pile of shit hitting a brick wall. I would say that's basically how you could explain the Eagles' season. So the reality is, I think you combine the fact that Steichen and Gannon just were never able to be replaced anywhere near with the capacity of what they obviously Sirianni needed from his coordinators, and then you combine the stunt of the fact that I think the energy was so cocky all year that it puts such a target on your back. Like, there was no overcoming it. Like, Sirianni, the target he put on their back was the cherry on top of the shit Sunday of how fucked it was going to be. Like, you already lost a lot of continuity and a lot of direction, and then you wanted to be like, we're the big bad boys on top of it, and teams just wanted to come in and punch him in the face. And that's exactly what's been happening.
I think, like, kind of what we were talking about, like, when Gannon left and Steichen left, I think it is, like, the biggest, like, teller of, like, the fact that Sirianni's a merchant.
Is it maybe a fact that, call me crazy, but, like, some fans maybe just put a little bit too much stock into one coach instead of looking at the staff as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, my thing is, like, you see what they did in Indy, and you see what Gannon did in Arizona with a fucking talent-barren team. And, I mean, Arizona had 4 wins this year, but 3 out of their 4 wins were against playoff teams. Like, they weren't just, like, beating up on bad teams. Like, what they did over there in Arizona is very impressive.
And they're holding on to so much less talent. Like, people don't want to talk about that ever for whatever reason, but it's a big thing. Like, you start looking at the NFL like a Madden roster, and it'll make more sense why certain coaches are getting gassed and some coaches are getting absolutely hammered as they should.
I mean, I think the thing too is, like, okay, this is a very real conversation that we have to have about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts played all right this year. Did he play worth $55 million this year? Not that he got paid this year, but talking about his extension. No, he didn't.
Call me crazy, but was the writing on the wall with how QBs are being paid? Back to my number one narrative.
It's just, like, very frustrating because it's like, we talked about this in our past videos, that, like, when you surround a super team around just a guy that is not the guy, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. The only team in the playoffs that doesn't have the guy left that, in my opinion, is like the 49ers. Like, I'm not saying Jared Goff is the guy, but, like, I also don't consider the Lions like a super team yet. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't have those defensive pieces and all that stuff. Jalen Hurts, while he is a good quarterback, like, he's surrounded by a ton of talent. And their guys are getting older. Jalen Hurts is going to have to work with less. And it's like, can that be sustainable for them? A.J. Brown seems like he's not fucking with what's going on.
You know, it's crazy, bro. It literally all just came to me right now. I've literally been sitting here having, like, a vision realization. It's crazy, bro. Because I'm literally mad thinking about it. You would think after the blueprint, how Tom laid it out. Tom laid out the truth for everybody with he threw a magnifying glass to everybody too. He was like, "Here, go look at it. Just look." And everybody refuses. What the reality is, he proved it. Was, dude, you can be the fucking all-time guy taking a pay cut, and it still is not always going to be good enough. And you got these dudes that are nowhere fucking close to Tom. Like, respectfully, it's not even close. Making triple what he was making, I know it was a different time, but take it and multiply it even to real times, Tom would be making way less than these dudes now. And you got these dudes thinking that they're worth that much, and their agents convincing them that they're worth that much, and it's a dick measuring contest. And the reality is, this what makes it even worse, is it's not about, these dudes all are full of shit. All of them know, nobody's worth $60 million a year to go toss the football around. It doesn't matter, even if like it's your highest, because everyone else has to get paid. And if you're getting paid $60 million a year, where the fuck is everyone else getting paid? And call me crazy, bro, but if you're not able to get the maximum talent in the building, your chances are diminished heavy. And it's like, oh my God, when a guy who's playing as well as Jalen Hurts, and that's my thing, it's not where he was elevating everyone else. Everyone else was clearly elevating him. And you go and you sit down with your boys and you say, it makes sense to go from paying him $8 million a year, or 4 to 8, and you're like just rough like rookie contract numbers. Let's literally take that number and times it by like 10. And our team will still play the same. Tell me where that math checks out. Tell me where there's any logic in it, because it's like a bunch of dudes. We're in a hamster wheel right now. It's literally a hamster wheel of shit where everybody just can't come to the realization that the only way it was ever going to work the way it worked, dominance sustained, is when the dude who's making the most impact isn't trying to measure his dick with everybody else, and he's actually trying to win consistently. Oh my God, what an asshole. What a crazy statement for me. Bro, it's the objective reality. And it like all just came to me like a brick to the face. Like QBs are starting to demand so much and thinking that they're, for whatever reason, and their agents are convincing them that they're the only reason the team is winning. When in reality, you could be the best QB in the league and playing the best QB in the league. And if you don't have guys around you, your team is not going all the way. Like, when do we hit a point where the QB has to be the end all be all? You know what I'm saying here, bro? And the QB contract has to be the end all be all.
I think my thing is, I agree with you to a point. I think like when you have a guy like Mahomes, you have a guy like Josh Allen, you have a guy like Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, I think those are guys you pay ridiculous amounts of money to. Jalen Hurts had a great year last year.
Let me be clear. That's what you're saying, absolutely. But even with that, all I'm saying is if any of those guys were even willing to take 5 or 10 off their contract a year,
they're going to get another star.
You would see the results.
And my thing is like, Jalen Hurts, I'm not, and this is in no way saying that these athletes don't deserve this money. But my thing is, if you're a team that wants to win and you don't have a top 5 quarterback, they're most likely not worth the money. Think about it. Daniel Jones got $40 million a year. $40 million for Daniel Jones.
This is where the narrative started.
Like, Daniel Jones broke the quarterback market, in my opinion, like, in terms of, like, what is expected to be paid of these guys. I'm not saying Daniel Jones doesn't deserve it. I'm not saying he shouldn't have $40 million. I'm saying from a team perspective, if these guys are not top 5, you cannot pay them $40 million a year.
You can't even pay them. Bro, we're hitting a critical point where I think the reality is showing, bro, you can't even pay them $30 million a year. You shouldn't even be paying them $25 a year. Like, let's use Geno as an example, bro. Like, Geno's not making a ton of money, playing midline QB, and he played good last year. It doesn't help the team.
Geno was like really the most modest contract that you can get, and it's like I honestly feel like we're going to see like the repercussions of these ridiculously high quarterback contracts. And Geno Smith, like, I think that is going to be the new standard where it's like these guys that are not top 5 are going to have to take less because it's just not working. I mean, like, I don't know, man. This team is interesting. I mean, in my opinion, I don't know how you run it back with Sirianni next year.
Well, it's just like I just want to say one more thing on the QB market thing, because this is what it's turned into, bro. I come to you and I say, hey, yeah, room full of 53 men, our team. Hey, yeah, so this one guy, he's worth 1/3 of what I'm paying all of you. And all of you can fucking eat the rest of the scraps, right? Tell me, at what point does everyone else say, what the fuck? Tell me what point does everyone else's psychology say, why the fuck is he worth that much?
Everybody understands in that locker room, like, what how the salary cap and like market works in terms of like the quarterback is always going to get paid more. But I think, to your point, when the team stops winning and the quarterback play lacks, I feel like that's when you start to get disruption in the locker room. And I think listen, I don't want to keep harping on Jalen Hurts. I think I don't really have an issue with Jalen Hurts himself, but like we were talking about it, like the way he's been conducting himself in like these post-game interviews and everything like that, like you saw like Baker like riles his guys up. Jalen Hurts, all this nonchalant shit is cool. It's cool as fuck when you're winning. But when you start losing and then
It's like a comic book when you're winning.
It's just like lame, man. It's lame. It is lame. And I'm not trying to like harp on it because like Justin Fields, like I'm a Bears fan and I hate the nonchalant shit. It's like, bro, when you lose, like come on, man. Like he owns up to it, like I gotta be better. Yeah, I gotta be better, like all that stuff. But it's like, bro, like rile your guys up, like you're a leader.
Bro, the biggest trait for me, I've always said on being a leader, is always being. It just is the innate thing about it. Where even when you know it's not your fault, you go and tell everybody, look, bro, it's on me. I gotta do better every second because inherently, you know, as a leader, you're not gonna get in your own head about that shit. But if you don't help them out, they're gonna get in their own head about it. That's how a lot of people are, right? That's when you're the leader, bro. You got to be the one that gets people out their own head. And if you're not doing that, maybe you're not the leader.
Yeah. So just quickly before we finish up here, the Eagles for next year have about $28 million in cap. So I would imagine they're going to clear some space up, but it's going to be very interesting to see the kind of the trajectory of the Eagles. I don't think they're going to be horrible next year, but I mean, I have a hard time believing that they're going to be like very, very good.
I think it's going to be a weird year, and it's also going to depend a lot of decisions that they're going to have to make around that staff. But I wouldn't be surprised to see heavy changes considering Howie Roseman doesn't fucking play as he shouldn't. If anything, Howie's proved and he knows. He's like, man, especially now. Yeah, y'all know I'm the MVP over here in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Y'all thought it was everyone else. Turns out the MVP in Philly is Howie fucking Roseman.
It is.
Crazy.
But also, I don't know, man. I mean, he's the one who gave Jalen Hurts that money.
Yeah. Oh, well, you know what? Hey,
he's the one.
Way to turn it back around though, because that's a fact.
He's the one that drafted. Like, now listen, Jalen Carter, I still think is good, but where the fuck was he the second half of the year?
My thing is though too, like
I know they rotate a lot.
But that's always been the biggest knock on Jalen too. Is like, and it still is a thing. He doesn't have maximum stamina. And that's definitely the biggest flaw in his game. But it's also like, it is just contingent to him right now where it's like, I'm not going to knock him for like the snaps he's not out there because that's just, it is his weakness.
I just think also with a lot of older guys kind of making their way out, like their line is aging and everything like that, like both sides of the line, that it's like, it's going to be hard to maintain what they built.
No, for sure. Jordan Davis and him have got to step up crazy next year.
But, yeah, this has been You Don't Know Ball. Let us know how you think the Eagles should handle this offseason, what they should do. Leave a like, subscribe. We're bringing you content every day. We appreciate you guys. The channel keeps growing because of you, and we're striving for more and more and more. So we're trying to get the channel to 2K soon. Thank you guys. Hope you guys have a good night.